Has the 60/40 portfolio come back to life? Thanks for joining us here on Aspire to Retire with Ralph Short, Tim Short, and Scott Earhart of Welcome Home Financial Partners. You can find them online, welcomehomefp.com, and give a call, 804-635-3550. That's the phone number if you have questions about what we're talking about today or just questions about your retirement in general. Again, 804-635-3550. My name is Chris Swan, and I'm pleased to be joined, like I said, with Ralph Short, Tim Short, and Scott Earhart. Gentlemen, glad to be with you. How you doing today?
Yeah, great. How are you?
Doing really well. So the 60/40 portfolio has come under fire a lot lately with bonds underperforming. That's supposed to be the quote unquote safer side of it, but has it made a comeback? The investment mix scored around actually a 10% return last year after a disastrous 2022. But here's Morningstar's Jason Kephart.
One thing that failed in 2022 is that the stock and bond correlation that had kind of been the biggest feature of a 60/40 portfolio fell apart. Them both losing money at the same time. But now, given where rates are, bonds should be a lot more resilient. And if there is some kind of economic event that causes stocks to sell off significantly, I think you're going to see that bond portfolio be a lot more resistant to those drawdowns than it was in 2022.
So I have to wonder, here in 2024, would you guys recommend using a 60/40 portfolio?
My answer would be, it depends. It depends on that individual, because not everybody has the same goals, same aspirations, desires, and there's really no typical retiree as far as I can tell. You have people that are in their early retirement that needs to have some income coming in, and if you need income, the ups and downs of the market might make it a little bit more difficult to you. And are you trying to beat the benchmark? Are you trying to beat the market, or are you trying to achieve your goals? That's the thing that you need to do, because each individual has different aspirations.
Yeah, I'd agree with Ralph, and I'd echo his answer about it all depends on the individual. I mean, there's no universal approach that's right for every single retiree or every single person that wants to have a portfolio or has a portfolio. Really what it comes down to, in my mind, is who is the advisor you're working with? Are they taking a tailored approach? 60/40 might be right for you, but it might not be. You need to work with a financial professional to really see what fits your goals, your needs, and your risk tolerances.
Yeah, and to kind of chime in here on that as well, is the 60/40 is kind of the traditional mindset of, hey, we don't want to have everything in equities. We want to take some and put it into bonds. But, like you said, there are years where the bonds are going to lose. So it's always been deemed as a safe investment. So we need to take a look at some alternative investment options for you. And there could be a safer route than bonds. So if you want to leave 60 in stocks, move 40 elsewhere, you can have some protection, make some money when the market does well. But just looking at everything traditionally doesn't always work for each individual.
You mentioned a typical retirement. There's no such thing, as you guys pointed out there. I think a lot of people, because everyone's retirement plan is different, one thing that no one wants to do is run out of money in retirement. I think that is the consistent, it's safe to say that. So what I'm hearing is that perhaps the 60/40 portfolio still works, but that 40% may not necessarily be tied to bonds.
Yeah, that's correct. So if you're looking at 40% to be safe, quote unquote, for bonds, there's alternative investment solutions. And that's what a lot of folks don't take a look at, because a lot of advisors are just trying to build and accumulate. Well, once you hit retirement, it's about income.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make sure you structure it to where you don't run out of money, because I don't know about you guys, but I've never run into anybody who said, hey, I'm fine if I run out at age 80 and I live another 5 years. So that's what it looks like. And a lot of folks, that's their number one fear, is once they hit retirement, they might run out of money, because the way that the economy is, the way that things look, it could be bleak in some years.
And I would also say, I have some clients that would come in and say, this is my money, I've earned it. So all of a sudden, I do not want to leave any money to my kids when I leave this world, because I want to spend all of it on myself and my wife. So everybody's a little bit different. To answer your question, fear of running out of money, that could be an answer for a lot of people. Most people will say that, but there are other people out there that has a different attitude towards what they're going to leave as a legacy. And, who's to say who's right and wrong?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say to most people is, we can tell you how much you're going to need to spend on a monthly basis in order to do that goal, but you have to tell us one answer. and that is the date of your death. And then it's a quick mathematical equation to figure that out.
Now, have you had anybody tell you the answer to that question yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, I've had people tell me what they think it's going to be, but nobody hit it on the number.
Yeah.
I mean, to echo on Tim's point about alternative investments and Ralph talking about everybody's a little bit different, we talk to clients a lot about being diversified in your holdings.
Mhm.
Well, one thing that clients need to recognize, they need to be working with advisors that have diversified offerings. So a lot of, as Tim said earlier, traditional advisors are just going to go 60-40, boom, put it there. But we need to have alternatives there because, again, the 60-40 might not always work, definitely won't always work. Nothing will always work. But having options for that 40 or options for that 60%, whichever way the client needs to have it weighted, having multiple different types of asset classes is very, very important. And having an advisor that can offer you those is very, very important.
I think the other question that comes up a lot is people think that when we talk about diversification, you might have 25 different mutual funds. And guess what? In those mutual funds, they probably all have the same kind of mix.
Mhm.
So you're really diversified. So that's something that Scott was trying, when we were talking about this, I think needs to be pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree, Scott?
Oh, absolutely.
People may find themselves stacked vertically as far as what they have invested. Think of it kind of like if you want a pair of running shoes and you go to the Nike store. Guess what? You're going to walk out with a pair of Nikes if you end up buying something there. But if you go to someone independent that has access to a wide array, like the team at Welcome Home Financial Partners, not a shoe store, we'll go ahead and put that out there, but they have access to a wide variety of strategies and finding what's going to work best for you, because isn't that a novel concept? What's going to work best for me in retirement? Maybe it is a 60-40, maybe it's a 70-30, maybe it's a 60-20-20 or any variety in there, but finding what's going to work best for you based on what you want to achieve in retirement, that is what it's all about. It may, in fact, be that 60-40, but more often than not, it's going to be something a little bit different, and it may not necessarily be straight up stocks and bonds. As you get closer and closer to retirement, you want to make that shift, that transition where it's not a focus on accumulation anymore. It is about retention and preservation to address that fear of outliving their money. Although, as Ralph said, for some people, it's the fear of leaving money behind when they pass away. That may be a trickier thing to work on, but having a plan put together is what it's all about. The team at Welcome Home Financial Partners, they can help you create that plan. All you have to do to get started, 804-635-3550. Once again, 804-635-3550. They're always available online, welcomehomefp.com. We appreciate you joining us, taking time today to spend here on Aspire to Retire. Hope you have a great day. And guys, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All content is for information purposes only. It is not intended to provide any tax or legal advice or provide the basis for any financial decision, nor is it intended to be a projection of current or future performance or indication or future results. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of Welcome Home Financial Partners and Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC. The information contained in this material has been derived from sources believed to be reliable, but is not guaranteed as to accuracy and completeness and does not purport to a complete analysis of the materials discussed. All information and ideas should be discussed in detail with your individual advisor prior to the implementation. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstance. Advisor services are offered by Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Virginia. Being registered as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Insurance products and services are offered through WPI Holding, Virginia Insurance License Number 138509, an affiliated company. The information contained herein should in no way be construed or interpreted as a solicitation to sell or offer to sell advisory services to any resident of any state other than the state of Virginia or where otherwise legally permitted. Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC and Welcome Home Financial Partners are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency.